Last year, Victor Osimhen made history after guiding Napoli to their first Scudetto in 33 years. A year later, Ademola Lookman followed in the footsteps of his countryman and guided Atalanta to their first continental trophy ever, in the process becoming the first man in 49 years to score a hat-trick in a Europa League final. This piece of history sets the tone for our trivia question today. Our trivia question is, who are the last two Nigerian Super Eagles to win back-to-back CAF Men's Player of the Year awards? Now, don't think I can't see you. You shouldn't look at Google to get the answer. You will get the answer if you keep watching the show. Brian Mofokeng joins us today. Brian, how are you feeling, man? I'm sure you know the answer to that trivia question. I just had to threaten the viewers a bit.
You know what is nice about it? Monday night, you all said, even though I didn't go to the awards, I put on my best suit and I sat in front of the telly, and I was sitting there, and I had, it was two minds as to who's going to walk over the awards. But at the end of the day, it was a beautiful event, I have to say. Once again, Africa celebrating being African. Yes. And I've got my issues around how some winners came about. I'm not 100 with some winners, I have to say. But over and above that, there's always going to be one winner. Not everybody can win it. And
that's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah. The controversial decisions that we were not a big fan of.
I don't know if you're going to say controversial, but it's always going to be who judged the awards, yes. Who sits in those panels and make decisions. I know it's media personalities and all different people that come in and people that actually specialize in different stuff. But, I always sit back and I say, when you look at an award ceremony, for an example, you sit down and say, if Adelani, for an example, walks away with the best presenter for local side and goes on to become the best presenter on the continent, right. Surely Adelani should be the best presenter overall.
I mean, baffles me what happened with Ronwen Williams. We're going to be talking about that in the second segment of the show. But let's talk about the big prize of the night.
Yeah.
Ademola Lookman coming in his Nigerian outfit and speaking the language with an accent, the local language with the British accent,
Yeah.
Tell me, did he deserve that award?
Listen, like I'm saying, if you look at it, when on all the other categories were trimmed down to 3, only the men's category was left at 5.
Yes.
It is how tight things were in that particular category, and that is why I'm saying it was always going to be either one was going to work well with it. Hakimi was there, Girassi was there, Ronwen Williams was there amongst the nominees. Lookman was there as well. So it was always going to be very tight and as to who's going to walk away with the ultimate prize.
Yes.
But where I sit down and I say, where I always have issues is when I sit down and say, the people who do the judging and who decide who walks away with an award, do they watch continental football besides the CAF Champions League?
That's a very good question.
And the World Cup qualifiers. Do they even watch the World Cup? Do they even watch the qualifiers before the actual tournament? Do they even know what a player has done in their own spaces before they get to the Afcon tournament?
Yes, it's a bone of contention. We were talking about this off air, about just how do they judge who the best player on the continent is? Because Ademola Lookman is a player playing out of the shores of Africa.
Yeah.
And it always seems to be those players that win the awards. But what about the players playing locally and are clearly the best? Shouldn't that be the criteria to win this award?
Remember there's some stage where CAF used to have two different awards. They used to have locally based players, and they used to have the ones from outside. They decided to make it one award. So I think that's where we need to start really looking at how different things are done. But if you had asked me, Lookman did very well. In 2024, did very well. We can never take that away from him. From the fact that he was part of the Atalanta team that demolished everybody, to the fact that he became the man. When Osimhen was unable to take the Super Eagles to the next level, he was the man there. But during the same 2024 year, you had World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria didn't do that well. Afcon qualifiers,
Yes.
Very cagey. The story about Libya is the one that actually put them there right on top. So it has been those we're going to talk about. Let's look at other players. Girassi was the top scorer in the qualifiers until right to the end. You know, until when he got to the end of the Afcon qualifiers. That's number one. Ronan Williams, from a player point of view, what did he do? Led Bafana in the Afcon tournament as a captain of a team. Did exceptionally well. 4 penalty saves in that match that they played in the quarters. Who can forget that moment? He went on to be part of a team that won the bronze medal. He's gone on to be part of the Ballon d'Or, 9th overall in the Ballon d'Or.
Brian, you jump in the gun a bit because we're going to talk about Ronwen Williams.
I'm just saying, I'm just giving you
I know you set in the introduction for the viewers out there. But I also know that you had a problem with the Coach of the Year award.
I don't think problem is the word you can use here. I think for me it was, I'm asking questions again around that. Let's ask the questions. When Cote d'Ivoire started the tournament proper, in your own backyard, they had a different coach at the start. Louis Garcia was the man in charge. After the group stages, they thought they were out. The coach had packed and gone. So they say, MS5, take over, my guy. You can be the one in charge of the team now from the round of 16 onwards. He did very well from there to get them all the way to then win the competition. Let's talk about everything else outside of competition. Those were the 4 matches he played. Last 16, quarters, semis, and final. Winning all of those to become the champions of Africa. Let's go now and look at the World Cup qualifiers. Where are they sitting? In their group?
Yes. Second. Second.
No, there's no sitting second in the World Cup group. They're sitting third overall. Let's go and look at the Afcon qualifiers. They qualified for the Afcon. Where are they sitting?
Second again.
Exactly. So you look at those numbers and look at how well they've done. Yeah, one will say, but there was also the DR Congo coach who did very well with them. Then there was Hugo Broch.
Then there was Hugo.
So that's what I'm saying, you know, awards, you know what I love about awards?
Yes.
There's never a right decision.
There's never a right decision.
Come back and say, no, this one should have won it, this one. But the numbers never lie.
But for the viewers watching at home, what do you think? Do you think MS5 was the Coach of the Year? You could leave it in the comment section of the Fut-Afrique channel. On that note, we blow in the whistle for the first half of the show. We'll be back with more arguments and banters with my good friend here, Brian Mofoke.